All right, welcome to another episode of Aussies Taking Over the NBA. It is an over-under recap episode today. This will come out just after our other one where we went through some games recently. We're all the way up to date now. This is the first time I've even looked back at the over and under, so this should be interesting to see. As always, you can like, share, and subscribe on YouTube and on hashtag the collective.
Hashtag the collective.
That shit
No. Keep that going. Keep that going. This is live, motherfuckers. All right, you can find us on YouTube, iTunes.
No, fuck
come on, man. Do it.
Fuck that. Study.
No. We're keeping that. That's good. That's gold. That is literally gold. All right, you can find us on YouTube, iTunes, and Podcast Addict. All right, Let's get cracking. That was hilarious. We've got to keep that. That's funny. So we're going to dive into the Aussie teams first. Start with Dallas. We had them at 34.5 wins for the season. Probably tracking slightly ahead of that. I think they're 8-9 now. Probably tracking to about that 37 win mark. And I think they probably will get there. I mean, they've had a good run of things lately.
So what did Vegas have them at? Just looking through here. Vegas had them at 34.5. Do you reckon they're going to make that?
Yeah, I think they might.
That's a lot of wins, man. What are they, 7-9 to start the season? They're going to have to go on a pretty good run.
They're starting to hit that little run now.
They're 5-5 in their last 10.
I just think Doncic, Barnes, Jordan, Dennis Smith, they're going to... I think there's enough trash teams in the East for them to put some wins against. It's a tough thing. They're sitting in the West where, you know, the top 11 teams are at above 500. So they're going to have to play some hard games, but they're going to get some easy victories in the East. But yeah, look, I think they're probably tracking to that, slightly above. But again, it's still 15, 20 games into the season.
Yeah.
Nearly a quarter of the way through, and not out of the ordinary to be at the Vegas odds. I don't think it's that much of a stretch for them to get there.
So what's your take on Ryan Broekhoff so far?
We haven't seen much of him. We saw a bit of him early on in the season. He didn't impress too much. Didn't shoot the three ball efficiently and kind of got benched pretty quickly after that. But we're starting to see a bit of a renaissance now and some garbage time. I think it'll take an injury again for him to break through into those regular minutes. But again, their coach doesn't want them to shoot threes. So,
well, he kind of passively aggressively wants them to shoot threes, where he wants them to play defense. But if they're shooting more threes, then that's great. You know, he doesn't really want it, but I think this team needs to shoot more threes no matter what. They need to restructure the way they play, give the ball to Doncic and just let him go to work, a la the Bucks and the Rockets style offense. But
yeah,
I don't think that's Rick Carlisle style, man. He just doesn't want that to happen. But I see both sides of the argument. Like, defense leading to offense is important. They're quite a young and ungelled team, so maybe trying to get them to play a bit of defense for starters might hold them in some good stead later on down the track. And when they've gelled a little bit more, Harrison Barnes has just come back from injury and he looked like absolute dog shit at the start. And I was a bit worried. But yeah, he's starting to play a little bit better and fit. Play with Doncic. Doncic still, for me, Rookie of the Year candidate. I don't think I even locked that in. I think you locked in Colin Sexton. But I didn't.
I did lock in Colin Sexton as a bit of a kind of a dark horse pick. But I mean, you know what? Sexton's picked up in a really bad team. He's a good scorer and scoring efficiently. So there's a long way to go. But Doncic definitely looks like the front runner. Trey Mung has gone a little bit cold as of late, but he has good and bad games. Whereas Doncic is consistently playing well. We'll move on to the Spurs. 43.5 might be a bit of a stretch for them this year.
They started all right. They started like like a typical Spurs team. DeRozan was in full flow. LaMarcus was playing well, and now they've kind of hit a bit of a wall. I think they're 4-6 in their last 10. I can still see them getting to about 40 and then maybe making a bit of a charge towards the halfway between 40 and 50.
Does this get them to the playoffs, though? I mean, they're 500 sitting at 11th.
I hope so, because that's what I predicted. I had them finishing 7th with 43 wins. So I can see them getting to 43 wins just on the fact that They have Pop as the coach. DeRozan has shown some sparks of brilliance. It's just they had, I think Pau Gasol's injured now. They won a couple of games. I still think they can get there, man. I think they can get to about 45. It's a big call at the moment. They're 8-8.
I've only got them with 35 wins, finishing 12th, so almost where on the ladder they are at the moment.
Is that an under for you?
Yeah, it was an under.
Yeah,
I had them an under, but I mean, I hadn't taken into account the DeRozan factor, but I think the West is just so strong. Anthony Davis is starting to hit his stride for the Pelicans. Drew Holiday is probably one of the best point guards in the league at the moment.
Yeah.
Denver has started off the season well. Slowing down a little bit now. OKC just pulled out 10 wins out of nothing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They were 9-4 now.
8-2 in the last 10. Like, where the hell did that come from? They were struggling. I think they were 0-4 to start the season.
They were 0-4 to start the season. Houston's finally starting to win a few games.
Yeah.
The LeBron factor's kicking in. Portland, playing really well. Nurkic playing well. Lillard, CJ, it's just... You're going to have to pull something out special to get to the finals, the playoffs in the West. And I don't know if the lineup currently the Spurs have is enough to do that, methinks.
Yeah, that's a good... I think we're both under, so we're both on track if they don't finish on 40 wins.
Okay.
Or above, that's still an under. What were they at? 43.5. I think I had them at 43, which is under. So that's kind of a bet each way under, really.
Yeah, bet each way under. We thought they were going to be under, and it looks like they're tracking on that. Okay.
And then you had them at 35, is it?
35. No, 30. Yeah, 35.
Yeah. That's a long way from being under. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of had them just under.
Yeah, just under. Look, long season to go. Injuries and things can change everything, but looks like it's going to be a bit of a jam-packed West as we predicted. Okay, the Bucks 46.5. We knew they were going to be above.
Yeah,
but looks like they're going to be well above.
Yeah, I think they're going to finish probably, or they're on track for what? They 12-4. That's probably
75%. So that's 60 wins.
Yeah, that's a 60-win season. Maybe they're going to do what we predicted the Boston Celtics will do. I still think they're going to hit a wall at some point. So
yeah, their shooting will go cold. I mean, I just think they've got enough depth for it not to do that. Like, obviously DiVincenzo, Henson's out, and it seems not to have pulled the stride. I mean, they're not starting plays, but they're important, backup minutes. Connaughton's gone a bit cold. But again, Thon comes in and it plays some efficient minutes. Snell comes in and plays efficient minutes. So I don't see them deviating from their projected path, but definitely above 46.5 win.
Man.
Yeah, it's
Giannis.
The Giannis
goes
factor.
down, touch wood. If he goes down, that's when, that's where it's going to really put a spanner into the works.
Yeah.
But he did have that concussion and they still won after.
Yeah.
So, but 60 wins, man, that'd be fantastic for the Bucks as well. That'd be very much the top of the East if they do. What did you predict? You had them at 52. I had them at 52. You had them at 44.
I had them at 44, but
but I understand that. That's not a lot.
You couldn't see the role playing around Giannis this year until you entered Coach Bud and what Coach Bud's got them to do. So I think halfway through the season we might do an updated over and under prediction and see where they're at and see what things tracking. But I'm not tracking too well on that one. Yeah,
that's all right because next one up is Utah.
We both did a bit of a boo-boo on this one. They've got 48.5. Benny's got them at 62. I got them at 58, so a little bit better. But they're just not anywhere near that team.
I don't know what's going on. It's weird. Like you were saying in the other episode, bringing Gobert out is causing them problems. They're not shooting well. Like Joe Ingles is a bit up and down. Ricky Rubio's not really playing all that well. They're kind of struggling to fit guys in. They haven't really had any injuries, I don't think. Jay Crowder's not playing that well. But they were the team that I thought, was going to start running away with the...
If there's any silver lining is that Exum is back fit and playing very well.
Yeah, he is.
That's the silver lining at the moment. I think teams have worked out Gobert. He's dynamite around the rim. Just don't drive in, kick it out, hit the three ball. Go in a three ball game, Gobert is completely null void.
Yeah.
If you're playing the Warriors, if you're playing If you're playing the Bucks, if you're playing the Spurs, he's completely null void. But if you're playing the Celtics, well, hold on a minute. This is where it starts to, they're definitely trying to get into the paint. Kyrie's trying to get into the paint. This is where we're going to win a few games, and they've beaten the Celtics twice. So it's just teams that match up worse are doing worse against them, and then teams that shoot the three ball are doing quite well against them. So I think they need to figure out a way around that, just to nullify the ability of teams to pull Gobert out and just blow by him.
Yeah, so they've got a run of the Kings, Lakers, and then the Kings again, then the Pacers again. They lost the Pacers today, spoiler alert. And then the Nets, Hornets, Heat. So a couple of maybe swings.
They've got some Eastern Conference trash in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you got to play 4 games against teams in the West, it's just like, ooh.
Yeah, and then Spurs, Rockets, Spurs, Thunder. So hopefully, if they can kind of pick it back up by that Spurs, Rockets, Spurs, Thunder stretch.
Yeah, I would definitely want the Thunder would be a good game. Getting Jingling Joe and a Paul George.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be really good. Because, Joe Ingles, he even looks a step slow defensively this season as well.
Looking a bit older. Maybe carrying an injury you don't know about. But still feasting off the 3-5 pick and roll with Gobert. And, that continues to be a staple for his scoring option. Yeah. But still shooting the 3 ball quite efficiently as well.
Yeah.
Just not taking the volume of shots. I think Mitchell stole those off him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on to Philly. What do you reckon about Philly?
So you had them at 56 wins.
Yep.
I had them at
55.
So look, I think we're actually on track for that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's a good, I think anywhere between 50 and 60 is a season for them. Probably anywhere 50 plus is a season for them that's, a capable season.
Well, they had 52 wins last year, so they're tracking obviously a bit better than last year. Enter the Jimmy Butler factor.
Yeah.
Is it been good? Well, they've had 3 wins so far. Continuing on, they've got some good bench depth coming through, some good rookies, and they seem to, I think there is just a lot of trash games in the East to win, realistically.
Yeah, so they're currently 12-7. I think that's a pretty good reflection of... their home form's been really good. Yeah,
they're the only team still undefeated at home as of today.
And then their away form's a little bit up and down.
A little bit better. But again, they've been playing some 500 teams away, and they haven't been playing the trash yet away. So today they played the Suns at home. They've had a good close series against the Hornets.
Yeah.
They've won the games that they should have won. They've lost a couple of, Brooklyn away was a tough one, but again, Brooklyn beat them last year as well. But that was off the back of, I think it was like five games in 7 days.
Right,
it's like they were knackered. Like
it was a crazy stretch.
Crazy schedule. You're never going to win that. You just don't have the depth. You're not going 20 man roster.
And then the Bucks they've beaten by the Bucks and the Pistons. That was a bit of a...
That was Blake Griffin night though. He just got really, really hot and not much you can do with that.
So their next stretch of games is the Pelicans, Pelicans and then Cavs, Nets, Knicks, Wizards. So that's a nice stretch of smash 'em up stretch where they can get some wins under the belt, get rolling. And then the Grizzlies, Raptors, Pistons. So I still think they're rolling quite nicely, even with that trade. That Jimmy Butler trade is going to give them another dimension. Also, it's going to give them a little bit of a refresher. Oh, we've got to study for something new. We've got to do something different. We've got to work this out. It'll keep them engaged a little bit more. Not that they really needed it, I don't think, but that's just kind of how the chips have fallen for them.
Well, I think the least efficient starting 5 in the NBA is off the court now.
Yeah.
And now we've got a good efficient starting 5. Redick's back to starting. He's hitting the 3 ball at 44%. Embiid's feasting with double-doubles nightly. And, Jimmy Butler is a good ISO player. He's going to give you between 14 and 28 points a night. Simmons seems to be getting on track, having more consistency. And then you've got Shamet hitting the 3 ball really well and some good rookie time. And, Muscala's playing well too. So everyone's playing well. Brett Brown's got them playing as a unit. So I think they're definitely on track for that. However, Boston, 57 wins. Definitely not on track for that.
Nah. So what are they sitting at? 9-8. They're 4-6 in the last 10.
We both had them around the 60 win mark. So.
Yeah. So it's you just got to take a loss on that because I don't think you could have expected that to happen. Really.
No, you couldn't expect the Hayward factor to kind of throw things out a bit and really not be the efficient scoring option that we thought he would be. We thought he'd be draining 20 a night quite easily, but he hasn't done that at all.
No. So defensively, I think they're still pretty good. Opposition points 103, which is I think the best in the league. Yeah, by quite some distance. In a league that this season has had some really higher
games.
Yeah, really high. Actually, no, the Grizzlies are the best 100 opposition. So defense, grits and grind. It was one you couldn't really see coming, I don't think, to be honest.
Yeah.
You just got to take the good with the bad with Boston. They're, again, a team that is just going to coast their way into the playoffs and then turn it on when it's playoffs time. They've got that experience. It's obviously this season's all about just getting Hayward integrated, and that's not looking great. But, that's all they've got, really. That's all they've got to be able to do.
Yeah.
So...
What is the surprise package this year thus far for you?
In terms of all the league? Or
in terms of all the league.
I don't know, probably Portland. I didn't really, Portland's still a good team in general. I didn't expect them to have this kind of start. I think the East, it's a bloodbath. So I don't think I was expecting that, Memphis, Portland to kind of push their way up into the East. I just expect, and the Clippers, I guess, as well.
Well, I think both those teams are one injury away from dropping out completely. And, I think the Grizzlies are quite injury-prone players. Conley, Gasol are very injury-prone. So they're just one injury stretch away from a whole bunch of games lost. And same with, Lillard and CJ. I don't think they've got much depth after that. For me, the surprise package has been the Kings.
Yep.
I think De'Aaron Fox has had a fantastic season at point guard. Willie Cauley-Stein's been playing very well at center, and I think they've pulled away some massive wins with, not a lot of pieces. We didn't think that their pieces were kind of mature. Marvin Bagley was third overall pick.
Yeah, I think.
And, he's been coming off the bench.
Second.
He was second overall pick.
Yep.
He's been coming off the bench. So, when a lot of the other picks above him have been really starting. So, bit of a surprise package thus far. I don't think it's something that they can keep up throughout the whole season.
They've kind of tailed off a little bit, 5-5 in their last 10, and they're now sitting just over 500. So, yeah, I expect them to kind of just sift back to the bottom of the table. Obviously, with that trade, the Timberwolves struggling. They were kind of struggling before the trade, and they're going to struggle sort of after the trade. I think they're just kind of...
Well, they won a couple after the trade. They won 2 out of the last 3. Look, they've added some good pieces for one goes, and they've added potentially 30 more points a game with Saric and Covington, who's a great 3-and-D player. I think he got 4 steals in the last game for them.
Right.
Shooting the three ball above 40%. So... He's not going to give you 30 points a night, but he's going to give you 15 points a night with good defense and, efficient shooting. I think the Lakers are probably where they're starting to get that rhythm going.
Yeah.
LeBron's starting to do LeBron. He looks slow, but he still looks LeBron-like.
Yeah. I think it'll be more about the rest of that team working it all out. JaVale's been really good. Lonzo Ball's starting to play a little bit better.
Adding Tyson Chandler.
Yeah,
to the
that's
mix.
been a big thing too because they didn't have that other center when JaVale was off the floor. They were kind of playing Kuzma at center, and that looked like it didn't work at all. Ingram, they had Ingram getting suspended and Rondo, and some stuff like that happened. But I think they're kind of on track between 40 and 50 wins, which I think would put them in the playoffs. Everyone kind of overreacted at the start of the season when they were losing games.
But Cleveland lost a whole bunch of games last year at the start of the season. And they lost a whole bunch of games at the start of the season this year.
I just don't think they're going to recover from that. Two of 13. So the worst streak at the moment is an 8-game losing streak, which is the Hawks. At least the Cavs, I think they beat the Hawks, and that was
They beat the Hornets. That was their last win. That was when Kemba Walker scored 7.
I think they beat the Hawks as well, and that was their only other win. So, and then the Warriors are on a 3-game losing streak. That's the second worst. Oh no, Knicks 5, and then Bulls 4.
And Washington. Washington are terrible.
What is going on there?
This is the Dwight Howard effect.
Yeah, I don't even know how they've even won 5 games. That to me just even looks like, what? You won 5 games? Like, haven't you just been terrible?
They started the year last season so well, and then they just kind of tapered off mid-season, and then they were just trash and snuck into the finals, and then just got pummeled.
So, yeah, what did we have? I had Sacramento at the bottom of the West, and then Phoenix, Memphis. So Memphis looks like maybe I had 35 wins, so maybe that could come back.
You had Phoenix at 35?
No, Memphis.
You had them at 38, so that's potential. I had Minnesota at 38. I had Dallas at 38.
Yeah.
I had the Clippers at 35. The Clippers are probably the other one. They're just like, how are they actually winning? Like, why are they 10-5?
And we both didn't have them in playoffs at all. So, what about in the East? I think I had Chicago, and they're stone near the bottom.
I had Orlando at 19 wins, which seems to have been a little bit of an overreaction. I think they're playing quite well as a team. Vucevic, and I think that 3-man Chubb lineup's doing well.
Oh yeah, Orlando, you had them at 19.
I just thought they were trash because last year they were trash. Fournier was trash.
Well, yeah,
Gordon was trash. But I think Terrence Ross coming back from a year off injury, he's adding a bit of dimension late in the game, especially in those clutch moments. He can shoot the ball quite well. So they've got a little bit more bench depth, which is helping them get up there. I think Brooklyn, a little bit of a surprise how they're kind of around that 400 mark. I had Cleveland at 34 wins. What was I thinking? But I mean, in saying that, Kevin Love's been injured for a long time. True. You know, you're out a max player.
But what if Vegas have, they had Cleveland at 30 and a half. That's a drop of 19 and a half wins, was it?
Yeah.
I can't read it. It's too small. My eyes are bad. 19 and a half wins. So LeBron, like I said in the other...
LeBron factor.
Yeah, that's worth 19 and a half wins. I guess Conley and Gasol are worth probably about 12 and a half wins to the Grizz.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good. But yeah, Phoenix, Chicago, New York. I'm pretty happy with my picks on all of those.
Looks like it's going to be. It seems this year's a bit more competitive with the kind of top 20 teams, and then the last kind of 5 or 6 are just trash tank.
It feels like it's reverse competitive. Like teams are taking wins from other teams as opposed to teams are getting wins from other teams.
Yeah.
A lot of these bigger teams have started the season losing, and now they're winning.
Yeah.
A lot of the smaller teams started the season winning, but you're obviously going to expect them to go back down, like we saw last year with Orlando. I think they started pretty hot. They were on the top for a while, and they just went pretty much right back down to the bottom. But 18 wins. I think they're almost at 18 wins, aren't they?
No, they're at 8. So I got them at 19, so they're going to win another 11 in 60 games.
So you'll be hoping that they lose all these games.
I'm hoping. I think I had Atlanta right though, 20 wins.
Yeah, I had 24. But I still think Atlanta, Chicago, Brooklyn, and New York are going to be the worst teams in the East.
Yeah,
and then it's just a jumble of Sacramento, Phoenix. Maybe Minnesota drops down a little bit.
The Clippers. I just don't see the Clippers staying up there with no real. I mean, they're playing well as a franchise now, but no Max, no guy, that guy that can take it ISO. It's just kind of like a team that's playing well, rolling well, being big men, but they get found out here and there, and one injury, could knock them down. I feel like if Boston, one injury could potentially make the team better.
If it's Hayward.
Yeah. I think Utah, maybe an injury would make the team better. I think...
Yeah. That kind of happened with the Bucks,
Yeah, a Bucks could make Philly, an injury could make that team better. So I think there's some teams there that got some depth. But yeah, I think a few teams are one injury away from just collapsing.
Yeah.
Like Cleveland.
And then Toronto, what about Toronto? You expected them to come out pretty hot.
And
I honestly didn't, to be honest.
Didn't?
No, I didn't expect them to start well. I thought maybe they'd have some problems with Kawhi, but he's looked pretty much seamless coming back.
52. I had them at 55 wins, and I think they're probably going to beat that. I think they're going to do what they did last year and take the West out in a fight with Milwaukee. But, you know, Philly and Boston be right back on the heels. I think those four are pretty much set, with Indiana maybe creeping in.
Yeah, I think 50 wins is pretty good for Indiana, with all those other guys 50 plus.
I just think the top five in that conference are just going to get a lot of easy wins.
Yeah.
They're going to rack up a lot of wins because they're going to have some teams in there that are trash tank. And, you know, we're going to get to a kind of high in that area, and then, you know, a more exciting playoff option for that conference than the West, which could really just go any which way on any given day.
Yeah.
And there's no Curry at the Warriors, then they're kind of a 500 team.
Yeah. No Curry, no party, mate.
That's it. And then Houston's slowly creeping up with...
How ruthless were they with Melo?
I know.
Just
poor Melo.
See ya.
Yeah. You know, Chris Paul's the lightest player in the league?
The lightest player. Man, he looks heavy. This season, he's looked heavy and slow.
175 pounds.
That's the lightest.
That's the lightest player in the league.
Wow. What about, Nate Robinson's not there anymore.
No.
Wow.
Boban's the heaviest at 290.
Bajanovic, the gargoyle looking dude.
Yeah. Boban, 7'3" Boban.
Yeah, man. That's crazy. But yeah, Houston they started looking awful, but then I think they groveled to their defensive coach and he came back. And now it's all come back roses again. Chris Paul, I think got injured. No, he got suspended, and then Harden had a few games off with injury.
Yeah, they're just, if one of those two goes down any time during the game, they've lost. Look, I just don't think they have the pieces this year to go for above 500. I think they'll get clipped by the big teams in the East quite easily, and a lot of teams in the West they'll find it hard to grind out strong wins against them. So I think it's really going to be a lot of bottleneck around that 500 come the end of the season. Whereas like the top five in the East will be like 650, 700. Because, there's definitely some weaker teams in the East.
So I think that's about that's some pretty good overreactions, because what's looking on for me, not Utah. That's not looking very good for me at the moment. And then Dallas getting up there at 42 wins.
Yeah, it's a bit of, I think, an overreaction. I think for me, my overreaction was definitely Utah. I've actually think that, the West I've got kind of right in the top 8, maybe down the bottom is a little bit worse. And I think my overreaction in the East was Orlando with 19 wins for the season.
But yeah, so when do you want to come back and revisit this?
Halfway.
All-Star.
We'll start. All-Star break. We'll start again and put together an update of what we think that it's going to finish on.
Because All-Star is a bit further along. That's about 60 games, I think.
Yeah, we'll go 40 games halfway
60.
through.
Yeah,
we'll come back and
because I think the last 5 years or 6 years, watching and supporting. Watching one team in isolation like this every night playing a different team is different to watching the entire league every night, looking at the different trends of things that happen. Like, you get inside your own head thinking, like, one night you look at it and Houston's 4-6, and then you look at it again and they're 7-4, and then the whole complexion of the league changes in your mind. But really, it's only been a week. Yeah. And I find myself sort of going back to the table, looking at it and going, OKC started pretty bad. Like, this is great. OKC's going to be terrible this year. And then suddenly bang 10-5, and you're just OKC's going to finish near the top now. This sucks. But then obviously
Westbrook gets injured and they're like 10-12.
And then they're back again at the top. So it's a different way to actually look at the way these things work, these standings. And that's why I'm a terrible gambler. Like, I can't I either really research things and look up different things and do as much research as possible, but then at the end it just comes down to, it feels like it's a gut
Yeah, it's
choice.
good, yeah.
Oh, that's Utah 60 wins. No worries. Yep. Lock it in, boys.
But I mean, like you'd expect Utah to win 60 when they had such a good run into the finals. Mitchell played so well, and they hadn't changed anyone on their team. They'd added Grayson Allen, Georgian Yang playing well, and Dante Exum coming back from injury and playing really well. You'd think they're going to be 60 wins, but coaches have gotten smart. Like Gobert is not going to win Defensive Player of the Year this year at all. He's not even going to be close.
Nah, well, what's their defensive rating? Opposition points against is 108. Like that's, I'm not sure what it was last year, but I don't think it was that high. The whole league itself has gotten a lot better offensively.
Yeah.
Still feels like they're not. Let's not go out make a collective effort. We'll make a collective effort to not go out and hurt people.
Yeah.
And play really hard and like get into people's faces.
I think it's just so early on in the season. I think everyone's just feeling each other out, and it will get there. After the All-Star break is when you start to see it get a bit niggly.
Yeah, that's when you see what
heavier.
the table's doing as well, and you've got things to play for, whether you're going to tank, whether you're going to make a run at the playoffs. The Clippers and the Grizz, that'll be interesting to see if they can keep it going. I just don't see what the Clippers have.
No.
Like we said, that's weird, isn't it? It's a weird thing. Strange. Obviously, you can see what Portland has. Dame and CJ playing really well, Nurkic playing well. Memphis obviously has Conley and Gasol coming back, and you're like, oh, right, that just adds 10 wins to their team, of course.
Yeah.
And Denver obviously started really hot. I think they were 9-0 or 9-1 to start the season.
Yeah, but they've fallen by the wayside as well.
Yeah, so what are they now? 4-6 in their last 10. A couple of losses creeping in. Seeing how they bounce back to losses as well as another factor. Some of these teams aren't used to winning. Some of these teams aren't really used to losing. Like you're seeing different sort of variances in the way they play. Maybe the dark horse a little bit is the Lakers and the Pelicans at just over 500. They're kind of on their way up. I think Pelicans are on a 3-win streak at the moment, 6-4 in their last 10.
Yeah, well, they've lost pretty much every game without Anthony Davis, so he's obviously going to be a big part of that, and him healthy. But Drew Holiday is adding to that picture, and Mirotic as well. I mean, they've got a good team, got a bit of depth as well. So I think that they can definitely be there. But yeah, they're a one-man show. One man goes down, team falters. But so many of the teams are one All-Star away from knocking out the top 8.
Yeah,
if
that's
the All-Star goes down. Whereas I think that Philly, Boston, OKC, maybe Golden State, they're going to be Toronto. They're going to be there at the end no matter what.
Yeah,
and the Bucks as well. So even if one of their All-Star goes down, they've got enough depth in their roster to fill that void. So
yes,
we will end it there. A bit of a take on what's going on in the league. Remember to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, or Podcast Addict. Next ep, we're going to be doing a little bit of an update from Aussies around the world, G League and Europe.
Yep.
So something a little bit different, but an interesting pod that we wanted to get out there. We are going to be doing a few things on G Leagues, mainly stat lines, telling you how the Aussies are playing, how they're performing so far, running into obviously the G League season, which is pretty big as well. And we'll talk over some European action. So we look forward to seeing you then.
Yep.
Peace.
Take it easy.